revving up for those 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We're over halfway of the season gone, and we are off here for the Hungarian Grand Prix, getting a shocking start once again. Well, but can we get down the inside of Grosjean, swoop to the right, down the inside of the braking zone? We've got him even before we hit the apex, but we've gone very wide. Maybe Ricciardo comes back at us. No, Grosjean comes back at us. We're now on to lap 3, immediately on the back of some other cars, so we've got pretty good pace here as we get right up signs there, having to lift off in the middle of that corner, which is usually flat, but down the inside of both these cars, lovely stuff to watch, side by side through the next corner and the next one, and we through, and we just managed to squeeze through. That was wonderful racing with Romain Grosjean.
Around 10 miles northeast of Milan and built within a park, the Monza circuit is a legendary track on the F1 calendar. It's popular with drivers and fans alike, especially the Italians, who are hopeful for a Ferrari win on Sunday.
With the track temperature rising, it was time for the front runners to try out the medium compound tyres, with Rosberg still proving to be the man to beat.
1 minute 26.225 seconds, and Valtteri Bottas goes second, 126.758.
With just over half an hour to go, there was finally some good news for Hamilton as he made it out onto the track, but his first lap on the medium tyres didn't start too well.
Let's see what kind of improvement Lewis Hamilton can make then as the DRS snaps shut and he hits the brakes.
Oh.
Whoa, and he's already gone a little bit deep into that first chicane.
About 217, 218 miles per hour. Again, that right front lock-up and then having to correct as the rear comes round on you after that.
So, barely a whisker between Rosberg and Hamilton in practice too, with the Mercedes drivers ahead of the Ferraris.
What's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to my F1 2015 career mode with Jenson Button. We're back with part number 9 today for the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. Now, obviously, Season 1, we had an amazing race here in terms of the result we got in that Ferrari. But now, for Season 2, in this black Mclaren Honda, we're going to struggle a little bit, I feel. Down the straights, obviously, we're going to be sitting ducks. We're going to have to try our best to make it up in the corners. We're going for a very low downforce setup, as you can see, 2-1 wings, and pretty much the usual standard setup for the rest of the car. A lot of you have been asking about the setup of the McLaren this season. It's pretty much just been the case of lowering the wings down, but apart from that, the rest of the setup is pretty much the same as I did in my setup video at the end of Season 1. So if you're wondering about that, that's how I go racing with this McLaren, just dropping the wings down, trying to negate that Honda power unit deficit. So we're going on our first flying lap here at Monza, obviously up into rich mix, and we're going to probably put it down to standard at the end of the pit straight, because obviously, as I've said many times already this season, in the McLaren, it's so important to kind of gauge the engine temperature and to really manage it and make sure the engine stays in the green section and trying to avoid it getting into the red. So through the first corner, obviously the first chicane, and we've navigated it pretty well. We're going to cut later on into this flying lap then, and down the back straight towards Parabolica. That's obviously been revised for this game now, finally. It's much like real life now, where there's a bit less gravel on the runoff there on the left-hand side. But we come through to the exit of Parabolica on towards that finishing line, and we're going to pop in a lap time. And at this moment in time, I really didn't know what to think of the lap time, to be honest. I was like, it seemed like a pretty decent lap. And then when I came onto my second flying lap, I found myself still in 5th place at this point in time, and I just thought, you know what, okay, maybe people haven't set their lap times yet. Raikkonen on pole position, so that was quite nice to see here at Italy, the Ferrari on pole position so far. And then we come through and we don't set a faster lap time for our second flying lap, and then I was just struggling for where to find pace. I thought I'd retire, and we've ended up in 5th place somehow. So I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I don't know how this has happened, but somehow we've got 5th place for the Italian Grand Prix. Who would have thought, in the McLaren Honda? So obviously, as per usual, I'm guessing we're not going to get an amazing start, but, you know, this is going to really help us for that damage limitation that we need to do here at Monza. So without further ado, let's get straight into the Italian Grand Prix. So here we are on a very sunny Sunday afternoon. We're here for the Italian Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso down in 19th place, surprisingly, as I've qualified in that 5th place, as we mentioned in qualifying. 1.3 off pole position, so the pole time, very fast indeed from Kimi Räikkönen. Nice to see the Ferrari on pole there for the Italian Grand Prix. But we're not going to waste any time here in this episode. We're going to go straight on from the grid towards those 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix. This is full damage limitation today. We go to 5 red lights, and we are off straight away, up into 2nd. Now 3rd, little bit of a squirrel there on the rear end as Ricciardo now has gone past us on the right-hand side, and also the Williams of Bottas as we gun towards down in P7 now, towards turn 1. Can we go down the inside of Bottas? Yes, we can. He touches us a little bit, so we have to take avoiding action off the curbs, and again, you could hear there, he taps me on the rear, so we had to take a little bit of avoiding action over the curbs, unfortunately, but we really had nowhere else to go. But we have managed to get it back up into 5th place, so that's pretty good. And on to the end of lap 2 now. Bottas still chasing us down. The 2 Ferraris fighting hard. There's a yellow flag, though, up ahead, so has something gone wrong there? Oh, God, something has gone wrong. Raikkonen is in the wall there, and Vettel is spun. So Raikkonen, the pole sitter, in the wall, so he's been in the walls there. 2 Mercedes out in front, 1-2, you can see on the replay camera. So they got a great start off the grid. Then here's Raikkonen going down the inside, and oh, God, he just snagged the rear there. Rosberg, classic sort of move, really. It's very easy to make that yourself as a player as well on these AI cars. So we're looking on board from Vettel now. Now onto Raikkonen. He goes down the inside. We're going to look on from POV from Vettel. There, you can just see just a classic little snag of the front left, I'm guessing, on the rear right of Rosberg, and that means Raikkonen is in the wall. I don't think he's out of the Grand Prix, but now Vettel onto lap 3 now, going right past us on the right-hand side. He's not messing about. He's lost a position there, but he gets it straight back in the very next lap. So I was maybe going to be a bit optimistic and say we could have maybe stayed in 3rd, but straight away Seb just gets it back, and it's no use to fight that too much. So we're down in P4 now. Still pretty damn good to be in P4 by lap 10 now, as you can see. We've cut some way into the Grand Prix now. We've got an early pit stop here, I think, for Nico Rosberg. Yes, it is. We go up into 3rd place. Rosberg pitting pretty early, actually, because I think Monza is definitely a one-stop usually for the AI and yourself. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to be doing in this Grand Prix so far. I'm leaning towards maybe a one-stop, but we'll have to see. Sometimes it is worth doing a two-stop in this McLaren just to get a bit faster pace. But if you are trying to do a one-stop, you're meant to pit around, well, you know, right now when we're pitting around lap 13 to 12. But Rosberg pitting a bit earlier there, so I don't know if Rosberg's maybe doing a two-stop. If he is, then we may have to be wary of him. We could be ahead of him in the later part of the Grand Prix and might have to try very hard to defend for him and try and keep the position, which would be kind of nice to try and do. But we made a pit stop there. Also, at the same time, I think Bottas, that is behind us, also making a pit stop. But we come out now, we cut all the way onto lap 18 now. Unfortunately, not too much happening. We just ran our race, and to be honest, the pace was actually not too bad here at Monza. I was very, very surprised that the car, you know, had lap time in it compared to the other AI cars, because I really thought this would have been a nightmare scenario for us in the Grand Prix. But we're in P3 still. Rosberg now definitely is doing a two-stop because he stayed behind us. He definitely would have been ahead of us if he was doing the one-stop. So he's doing a 2, so we'll have to be wary for him. He will be closing up on us pretty damn shortly with only, what's that, about 8 laps to go in the Grand Prix. So he will be closing up on us pretty shortly. And I say that onto lap 21, and he is straight past us with DRS there as we cut on towards the Ascari. So Rosberg, unfortunately, is past us and into 3rd place. We're down to 4th, so hopefully we can keep 4th place. I don't see any cars behind us immediately. Nasser is behind us in 5th place. As you can see on the mini-map, no one's really behind us, so I think we should have this in the bag. As we cut onto lap 27, we do indeed. Sebastian Vettel has won the Italian Grand Prix, so Seb has done what I did with him last season, season 1, so he's kept that going. 2 wins in a row for Seb in the Italian Grand Prix there, but I've come home in 4th place for the Italian Grand Prix, and to be honest, I am pretty damn happy with that. 4th place at Monza. If you told me that at the beginning of the episode, I would have taken it with 2 hands. Just really awesome. I mean, Jenson's not too happy on the video for some damn reason, but I guess that's because on this game they give you unrealistic kind of targets if you qualify quite high. But there you go, confirmation. Legend AI, 4th place at Monza. I'm pretty damn happy with that, right? Hamilton gets a penalty there, so I think Seb and Hamilton must have had some sort of contact there, but we've done well. Unfortunately, with the win, Sebastian's overtaken us in the drivers for 4th place, but we've got a great 4th place there for the Italian Grand Prix. But, guys, as you can already tell, only 9 minutes gone in the episode. Definitely not enough action for one episode that I like to do in career mode. I like to keep my career mode episodes nice and chunky with a lot of action. So we're going to go straight on to the Singapore Grand Prix for the true night race of the season. So here we are at Singapore for this night race. Fernando Alonso has done very well, you must say, to qualify in 12th place. That's probably his highest position in qualifying so far this season, but it's all been outshadowed because as we move on to the top 5, yep, we're still not there yet. We've still not seen myself because here we are in 2nd place for the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix. Fantastic qualifying for us. This circuit, obviously, much like Monaco, except with a bit of a longer straight on that back straight in Sector 1, but it pretty much is like Monaco, a place where we can really just wrestle the car through the corners and really make it work for us in this McLaren. And we're in 2nd place now as we go to 5 red lights for the Singapore Grand Prix. Now 4, now 5 for the Singapore Grand Prix, and we are off there, lights on for an age, and Hamilton has already started to jump us once more yet again. We've squirreled to the left-hand side of the circuit, but we're going down the inside of both the cars. Hamilton and Raikkonen there, we had to make that crucial move. We cut the corner a little bit there, but we didn't really have anywhere else to go down the inside, but we have managed to stick it up into 2nd place there on lap 1, but then immediately on to lap 3 now. Raikkonen and Hamilton indeed are both on the back of us. Obviously Raikkonen having a poor showing in the Italian Grand Prix, so he's going to want to make up for it. So here he goes on the right hand side of the track. He just pushes his way through. Hamilton's going to try and push past on the left hand side. I have to give him the room, but now we switch back, try to go down the inside of Hamilton. We go right over the curb, just squeeze him out there, and we have got 3rd place back from him. Unfortunately though, we have lost the position to Raikkonen, so right now we're down in 3rd place. This is still a podium position, but unfortunately you can see already Raikkonen steaming off in the distance. The AI with some brilliant traction here around Singapore. But later on to lap 3, we're struggling a little bit now on lap 3, not going to lie. The pace wasn't amazing on this first stint. Hamilton right behind us here, goes for a move actually. Hamilton goes for the diving move, and he's made contact with the Williams, and oh god, there's been yellow flag, and I think there was a little bit of contact with Hamilton and the Williams, and I think there has been some sort of crash, because look at the gap now on the mini-map between myself and now seemingly Sainz, who's popped up in 4th place. So we're going to have to look at a replay of this. So Hamilton, here you can see I'm really struggling at this point. Really was a very bad part of the Grand Prix for me, struggling on these option tyres. But Hamilton, look at this. He just, oh god, he really tries a diving move lunge there. Breaks his front wing completely off, and then here his POV cuts away because seemingly he retired, and the game doesn't show you any cars, replay cameras that retire instantly. They just kind of switch off. So we're going to have to view what happens from Bottas's perspective. So here he makes contact with Hamilton, loses a bit of his end play, and then Hamilton sticks it in the wall, and Bottas gets spun round, hits the Red Bull. We've got Toro that goes right round the outside of Bottas on the left there, and then Bottas loses a heap of positions. On the 3rd person camera we can see it a bit better. They crash there, and Hamilton hits the wall. Bottas gets collected by Hamilton there, and look at that, there's an entire car park here at the Singapore Grand Prix. Look at that, even at the back there, an entire car park. So here on board with Ricciardo, he gets, oh god, he gets a little bit of a swipe from Bottas's rear end. He's lost a bit of end plate there on the right hand side, you can see, because look, he understeers here off the corner, goes very slowly, and then Sainz is through there in the Toro Rosso, and then I believe a few other cars, Vettel there goes through, and then the other Red Bull, like a Fiat there. And look at this, right at the tail end of the field, another car park, as my teammate Alonso actually is very hesitant to go through the tunnel there, and that causes a bit of another pile-up because Grosjean slams into the barrier, then Perez, then another Manor. Just crazy stuff to witness here. All the AI, probably the biggest AI crash I've seen together when it wasn't my fault or something like that in a Grand Prix situation. Just purely Hamilton's fault of crashing into the wall, and that had a domino effect. Probably the biggest crash I've seen the AI naturally make by themselves. If you guys have seen any bigger, comment below by all means, because I really haven't seen anything bigger. But now we cut onto, as you can see, lap 23. So yes, it has been quite a long way in this Grand Prix, and unfortunately, like the Italian Grand Prix, we are pretty much by ourselves. It's a kind of a story of the season, really, in this McLaren, that we're just kind of a bit too fast for the cars behind us, but not fast enough to catch people ahead of us. You can see we're in 2nd place right now. That's because I'm actually doing a 3-stop. Raikkonen and Rosberg ahead are doing a 2-stop. So I've got ahead of Raikkonen right now, but Raikkonen should be coming through just about now. There you go. So we're down to 3rd now, still in this 3rd position, but we've gone for a 3-stop. So this is our last stop onto the prime tyres. We've actually been slowly trying to catch Raikkonen, but it just wasn't enough on the 3-stop strategy. But the 3-stop strategy has meant we are still ahead of Vettel. I think if we tried the 2-stop, we would have fallen behind Vettel, but we've stayed ahead of him because of the 3-stop. Worked really well in my favour, so I think, if I do say so myself, quite a good strategy call from myself to go for a 3-stop. You can see the Manor car that's right behind me, that's not Vettel, so we've got a really nice gap to Vettel, and comfortably in 3rd place at the moment. You can see in lean mix there, but we cut on to lap 31. We're trying to lap a Manor car here. We're still in 3rd place. It's Rosberg from Raikkonen, from myself with Button, Vettel 4th, and then Hamilton obviously out of the Grand Prix. Big hitter, Hamilton out of the Grand Prix, and I believe Bottas is slotted down the order. But what can I say, guys? You know, it's been a really good episode for results. 4th place this will be at the Italian Grand Prix, and we're going to come through for a podium position here in the Singapore Grand Prix, but just not amazing racing action in the Grand Prix today. But I'm still thoroughly enjoying these 2 races because the results mean so much for us in the championship. 3rd place there, awesome stuff. So there we have it, guys, a really awesome podium place. That's 15 points in the bank for McLaren Honda. That's pretty damn awesome. As I already mentioned, maybe not the most thrilling races in Italy here in Singapore. I was very much by myself, very much like an in real life Grand Prix for a lot of drivers this season, but the results are so important. It means so much to me. A 3rd place, awesome stuff at the Singapore Grand Prix. I'm so happy with the amount of points we're actually getting. I'm so surprised, and I'm actually quite impressed with myself because I thought I would struggle a lot more in this McLaren, but I've got to grips with it. I've started to get really used to how you need to drive the McLaren with the engine temperatures, and it's been a really awesome Grand Prix. Obviously, the action has been amazing, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna try and lie to you guys or try and fake some racing for you. This is how the races went about. This is how the strategies went about. I just did my race to my delta time, race to my pace, and got the points haul. Really nice stuff. So if you guys did enjoy the episode, nonetheless, smash that like button, guys. It'd be awesome to try and get over 1,500 likes for this episode, guys. And yeah, if you did enjoy it, again, comment below on what you thought. If you're new around here, do subscribe for daily Formula 1 content. But look at this, 141 points. We're 2 points behind Sebastian. I think it'll be tough to crack that top 4, but I think top 5 is definitely in the bag. I think there's quite a good points gap between 5th and 6th down below to that Williams. And the constructors at the moment, we're still leading Red Bull in 4th place, so that's really awesome to see. So that has been this episode, guys, for the Jenson Button career mode. Again, if you did enjoy that, guys, smash that like button. Again, it would be awesome to try and get 1,500 likes on this episode, guys. But yeah, I've been aarava. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.